Hi everybody, my name is Dennis and welcome back to another album review. Today we're reviewing the original soundtrack for the film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now this soundtrack had a lot of huge names spread all across it. I mean, we have the likes of Denzel Curry, Nicki Minaj, Juice WRLD, just to name a few. I mean, almost every single song has a huge name on it. And despite all this talent, none of them really outshine each other. They all actually work really well together to make a really enjoyable album. I mean, from the start, we have the banger "What's Up Danger" with Black Way and Black Caviar, and this song just has a really catchy beat, has a really nice feel to it, has a nice flow, and it's just something that you can't help but just move along with, especially with the aggressive verses to it that aren't so aggressive that they're distracting, but have just enough emotion in them to really bring you into the feel. And then we have Jaden Smith, who I am not a fan of whatsoever. I thought his latest record was horrible, and even though I didn't review it, there was other things that I would have rather reviewed. I thought it was absolutely horrible, but he actually isn't bad at all on this song. He actually, if anything, is really good on it, and I was really surprised when I saw this. He has some really catchy production, some really good flows on it, and he does capture the essence of Spider-Man really well with his lyrics. He's actually has a good feel for the character and the way it's portrayed. And even though I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really be 100% certain how well it portrays Miles Morales, it seems to me like he portrays the character of Spider-Man himself really well in the lyrics. And I thought that was a unique strong point that not a lot of the songs in here did quite as well. Amine with Invincible. This one, even though I didn't quite see the tie-ins to Spider-Man in it, I loved this song. I really loved this song. I thought this was phenomenal. I thought the hook is so amazingly catchy. It's got this nice, smooth, soft, yet poppy groove to it that is just so easy to move along with. It's so well made. It's so fun, it's so interesting, it's so well made in pretty much every way. And like I said, I don't quite see the ties to Spider-Man, but it's very possible that when I see the film, that the way the song is portrayed in the movie suits really well to the tone they're trying to set. So I can't really rag on a lot of these songs too badly for not really feeling like Spider-Man, because I mean, there are some songs that do that really well, like I mentioned before, Way Up from Jaden Smith, or Save the Day from Ski Mask, or Elevate from DJ Khalil and a myriad of other people on that song. And those songs actually do feel like Spider-Man. I mean, with the lyrics at least. With the way the lyrics are presented, it sounds like Spider-Man. Whether they're singing about like swinging webs, singing about things that Spider-Man would do, or is even singing about the emotional side of things, like we see on Let Go. And all of this works really well together to make a really well done soundtrack that's surprisingly more cohesive than the majority of albums. And even though not every song is quite the same level of amazing that I've mentioned before, like the song Familia featuring Nicki Minaj and Anuel, and the hook was done by Bantu. I think Bantu really does the best on this song. Nicki Minaj's verse is unfortunately really monotone. She doesn't do it all that well, and I feel like she could have brought so much more emotion to the track, especially surrounded by so many talented people on this. She just fails to make herself stand out despite being such a huge name. And honestly, I find Anuel as basically as unbearable as ever. I mean, I do like him a bit better on this song than I normally do, but that's not really saying much. But I do think the production is solid. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do think the production on this is solid. It's got a decent flow to it, and even though it does kind of lean towards the generic Latin pop rap that we're seeing take over the mainstream as of late, it does that in it's still a decent way. I mean, it's nothing all that refreshing, but it's still decent. And really, there weren't any bad songs per se. I mean, there were, like I said, a couple I didn't care for, like the song Start a Riot. I felt like tried way too hard to be super aggressive, and even though I don't think the verses are all that bad, I do find the hook of like, "Oh, and I try to start a riot," can really get grating at times, especially after repeated listens. Although I will admit the verses on it did grow on me. I do think they have a really nice flow to them. But really, the vast majority of songs on this were incredible. I mean, we have the song Scared of the Dark with Lil Wayne, Ty Dolla $ign, and XXXTentacion. And honestly, all three of them do absolutely phenomenal on this song. I mean, Ty Dolla $ign has just such a gut-wrenchingly powerful hook that is just so filled with emotion. This whole song is filled with so much emotion, and you can hear it brought out through their voices. They're all so talented, and they bring it out in the best ways possible on here. And then Lil Wayne, with a much more emotional performance than he normally does, you can hear the tension, the sadness, but the almost positive look on things, where like things are bleak, things are bad, but I can still grow. I'm not scared of the dark. And it's really well done in every facet. I can see this working extremely well in the film, especially in a very emotional scene. I would love to see it in something like that. And despite my worries that come with XXXTentacion being on any project, honestly, and I don't really want to go into it. If you want to know my thoughts on them, go watch my review on Skins. But I actually really enjoyed his verse on here. I thought that it was actually really well suited to the powerful production, and it did a very good job of displaying that emotion. Even though I don't think he can quite stack up to the likes of Lil Wayne and Ty Dolla $ign on this, he still gives a performance that is much better than his average day, I would say. And even though I can see the argument that the lyrics that they used for him, and this was taken from whether it be just a verse from an incomplete song or a verse that was made for something else, and they put it on this, so the lyrics might feel a bit out of place, especially with him almost singing about a relationship, unlike the others who are singing about their own personal overcoming of difficulty. But I can still see this playing into the narrative of the song somewhat, where maybe the relationship is the difficulty you're overcoming, and this is just X's take on it, at least in the context of this song, even if that's maybe not what he was intending for when he first sang that verse. But still, a phenomenal song. Definitely one of, if not the most standout track on the album, just with the powerful performances all around. But yeah, almost every song on here was just great. I mean, Elevate was a banger of the album. Best banger on the album, by far. With DJ Khalil having a really great beat, with the likes of Denzel Curry, who just kills this song. He kills it. Denzel Curry, very talented rapper. I was really happy to see Taboo, which is a really great record, get a lot of attention this year. I'm glad to see a lot of people noticing how great he really is, because that was a great record. He is a very talented individual. But even then, we have people like YBN Cordae, Trevor Rich, and Suave. And they all do really great on this song, too. I think all of their flows work really well with the amazing guitar riff beat. And when the pianos come on this song, oh my goodness, I feel it in every bone of my body. Those pianos are so beautiful. Like, they're just so extremely well done, and they flow so well with the hard-hitting, fast-paced guitar beat. And it makes such a smooth transition into such a beautiful ambient moment that is a standout moment on this entire album. And we also have the song Memories from Thutmose. And this song, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought this was Super Duper Kyle when I first heard it. But he does a really great job with the happy rap style, like in the same vein as someone like I said, Kyle or Chance the Rapper or Sylvan LaCue, and he fits into this niche really well on this song. And even though I can be a sucker for that happy rap stuff at times, I think this is a very good song in that genre. And this is another one that I don't initially see the connection to Spider-Man, but I can see it working really well in a film. I can see it playing with the emotion, especially if it was more of a happy, upbeat moment. And even though it does kind of have a sad tone to it, it's really great. It's just really great. I mean, the lyrics almost, at least my interpretation of them, they came along the lines of like, when someone leaves you, they leave you with nothing but memories. But I mean, gosh, that most just sounds so happy on this song, and I love it. I love it. I really do love it. Juice World with High, pretty standard Juice World song. I mean, if you like Juice World, you'll probably really enjoy the song. I don't see anything particularly wrong with it. Nothing really above average or out of the ordinary for Juice World, but still a pretty solid track. The closing song on the album, Home, from Vince Staples, is probably the most rock song on this entire album, where the vast majority of it is rap or maybe like an up-tempo R&B. But this one has some really like strong rock guitars to it, and they are amazing. Vince Staples giving a great vocal performance on this song, and it just has a really great feel to it. It does an effective job of closing it out. If you saw the initial trailer over a year ago, this was the song that played in there, and I remember when I first heard that, I first saw the trailer, and I thought, wow, that's a really great song. And I remember looking for it, and I couldn't find it, but I'm glad that they put this on the soundtrack. I mean, it's a great song. I mean, Vince Staples does amazing on it. I mean, really, there weren't a lot of weak tracks. I mean, granted, Sunflower by Post Malone and Sway Lee, this was the big hit off this album. I mean, it's decent. Honestly, it's a mediocre Post Malone song at best. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I can listen to it alright and not be too upset about it, but I mean, not all that impressive overall. And yeah, I'll say a lot of vocal performances were really strong, especially that from Lil Wayne, Ty Dolla $ign X. And even though I didn't mention the song Let Go from, I believe it's pronounced Bu Young Prince, he does a really great job with that song too. That one's more of a soft, not really groovy, but like a soft, mellow tone to it. That, especially on a song with a lot of upbeat songs, is a nice, refreshing change that doesn't really mess up the flow all that well. Excuse me, it doesn't really mess up the flow all that horribly. I think it's definitely one of the better tracks on the album, and so yeah, this was a great soundtrack. I mean, this is a great listen, even without, like I said, I haven't seen the movie, and I feel like just seeing the movie will make this even better. At least I hope it will. So, with that being said, I'm feeling a light 8 on this album. Be sure to check it out. There are a lot of really great songs on here, and even the weaker tracks aren't usually that bad. So, yeah. Be sure to tell me how wrong my opinion is, as always, and I'll see you in the next review.